You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
This is Author R.S. Howell of Legends of Daer series, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Like, subscribe, share.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Before I start introducing my guest and start talking to him about his stuff, please get out to the YouTube page and subscribe to BODS Mayhem Hour, so that way I can get over the 1,000 subscriber mark, guys. Come on, I'm at 939 right now. Help a brother out. Get me over that hump. Just get me over that hump. And just help me out. Today's special guest is Mr. R.S. Howell, author of Legends of Daer series, but everyone calls him Scotty. I call him Scutness Howlis, Scotty, all kinds of nicknames. But yeah, he's got a book that's out. It's called, and I always say this wrong, he's probably gonna laugh at me again when I say this. It's Champions of Tylwyth.
Hey, there you go.
Boy, I tell you what, boy. Oh boy. Champions of Tylwyth. There we go. So this book is out right now, and I actually want a copy of it. Right here is this bad boy. Right there. That is it. Back and forth. But anyway, I've read on this a little bit from time to time when I get a chance to, because of all these interviews. We're going to talk to him about this. How you doing, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, yeah. Doing all right. Trying to work on book 2, which is a slow burn. It always takes forever.
Oh, I imagine, because you're already coming down off that high from that first book. You got to think about what you want to do with this one, how to continue it, if you want to continue it. And that process has to be slow. And I see why, authors take a while to come out with their second release in the series, because it takes a long time to even remotely want to start writing.
Yeah. And then you also have to reflect back on the first book, because you don't want to make loopholes or step on any toes that might contradict what you said in the first story. So there's I have notes upon notes upon notes of things that I have to refer to.
But how frustrating is that for you, though, man? Do you just finally just say, "Oh, screw it, I don't know what to do. I'll just take a break and come back and hit it again"?
I tell you what, it can be overwhelming, and it can really get on you. But I enjoy it. Like creating this stuff from nothing and giving it life through my own words is it's just something that no matter how stressful or how much work needs to go into it, I'm willing to put that work in. Which is, I guess, why people say that it's a really good read. I worry a lot about not giving enough, like it being too short. But it is what it is. This is the first book, so it's kind of just an introductory to the world and how it works and stuff like that. The second book is already a quarter of the way to what this book ended. Mm-hmm. This book ended with like 101,000 words, and my second book is already at 26,000 words, and I just finished chapter 2.
Oh wow! So he's like painting his vocabulary art, as I should say, in a way, because you're just like a painter. You're an artist, Yeah.
They got brushes and easels, and I have keyboards and notepad.
And and the sources and dictionaries and all this
Yeah.
other stuff.
So those would be my paints.
But how good does it feel to have this book out finally, man? Because I know you had two other books that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, but for you, and I've known you for years, but man, you're actually really proud of this book, and I'm proud of you too, because I've seen the work that you actually put into this and how hard that you've worked going from those other two books to now putting this one out.
Yeah. I am a lot more proud of this book than what I was of the other two. And the reason being is because I had a better support system with this one. There was my wife Brittany. She helped edit it, and with her going through it and then working on it with me to make the edits and stuff like that, I feel like the story flows and progresses a lot better. And then I had Jess and Bernie who did the cover. They worked on it together to make the cover, as you see. And then this is the very first one that actually has a hardcover instead of just a paperback.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And so I'm proud about that as well. Like, I feel like I have achieved something just because it's a hardcover. Because the other two only was just paperback. Like, they didn't even make it to ebook. They were just paperback.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is ebook, paperback, and hardcover.
I know when we talked a long time ago about your first two books, you were really frustrated with it because you felt like it fell short of what you could have actually accomplished. Yeah. And I feel like this book, man, it just went beyond that. You know, like I said, this is good to see somebody in Eastern Kentucky just like us, you know, working our asses off and doing what we do, what we love, and finally getting a little bit of recognition for it, man. So hard work pays off, you know.
Yeah. And it does. And that's why, you know, I never gave up. I mean, this has been a dream of mine since I was a sophomore in high school, and I'll be 40 next month. And it's, you know, there's some lumps that that I've taken, but it's just part of making it. Like, it's not just going to be a easy paved road, but you know what in life worth having is.
Exactly. Now, we both were at the Pikeville Comic and Toy Convention back in August, man. So you had a very good experience with this, and let's talk about that a little bit. How did it meet your expectations? What were your expectations coming into this?
Coming into it, I assumed that, you know, my wife teaches me these little dances to do on TikTok and stuff like that, and we post them on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere that we could post them. And I expected going into this, because there's a lot of people that know me. It's hometown, you know. I had hometown advantage, as they would say. Yeah. So I assumed that I would sell. I took 33 books up there, and I assumed maybe sell 15. I'd been excited with 10, acceptable 15, you know, that would have surpassed my expectations. But I sold 33 of those. I sold out. I sold every one of them. And that made me feel good, but also showed me that I underestimate myself a lot. So, you know, it was great. I met a person that saw me from TikTok, that recognized me from TikTok, and was excited about it. There was a girl that come up, and she didn't buy a book, but she was just really excited to get to see me. So I asked her if she wanted to take a picture, and just to see her excitement in the fact that I offered to take a picture with her was worth every bit of it. It was worth the dancing. It was worth the doing this and doing that, and trying to get myself out there, is just to see how people react.
See, man, it takes that one person, that one interaction besides behind the computer. You know what I'm saying? It takes that one interaction with somebody out in public who just says, "Hey, I recognize you. You know, I see you on TikTok. I see you on YouTube." Yeah. That right there, it's like I said, with these interviews that I do, if I reach one person and they dig my interview, I've done my job to help you, you know? So that's awesome, man. That I'm cool that happened for you. I had like force my cards on people. Oh my God. I don't know if it was a good experience or meh experience for me.
You know, it's a good experience just to see the people and see the people in costumes. I mean, hey,
I loved it though. I mean, yeah, it was cool.
it's
You know,
closer to the wrestlers than I was.
oh man, the wrestlers, yeah, but that was up my alley. Plus the horror stuff and things like that. But you know what? It's been a very long time since I've been to a convention, and it's just like starting all over again. Learn as you go. So next time I'll be better prepared, and and not have so many podcasts. Just take one podcast and promote it. So I was having 15 different ones you got to do.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy that you sold out because you were really tickled when I talked to you, and I was like, "Holy crap, he sold all of his books!"
Yeah. And I knew like a handful of the people. Like I sold 10 copies as I thought I would to people that I knew.
Yeah.
And the rest of them was just people that loved the look of the cover, loved what it read on the back, and was enough to take a chance on it.
What about online sales, man? Did you how are those going so far? Did those go up as well or no or
Hit or miss. Like altogether, book sales, I've sold 61 copies since June. That includes paperback and ebook. The hardcover just now came out, so it hasn't had its time to sit on the shelf yet. But between paperback and ebook, I've sold 61 copies, and I just officially opened my own Etsy store.
oh
I don't get too excited. I only got the hardcover book, the paperback, and a hoodie that I made myself on there. So,
sorry, I get a little overzealous. I need to calm down a little bit. I'm sorry.
yeah, but
My God.
but I told Brittany that we now have a store on Etsy, and she took my information, so it's untelling what's on there at this point.
That's true. Yeah, she runs with it, and you just say, "Okay."
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, honey. Okay.
So when do you want the second book to possibly come out? Do you have a time frame? Or you just letting it roll as it go?
Well, I have set a time frame. I'd like to have it ready for Pikeville Comic Con next year.
Okay.
For that to happen, I need to try to finish it by May and get it into Ingram Sparks to get it all processed and stuff like that. So hopefully by May I'll have it done. Which the best thing about it is book 2 was almost complete when I decided to break it in two. Legends of Daer started off as just one book, but it was coming up on 150,000 words. And I was like, maybe that's a little too big for a debut novel, So well, I say I thought of it, but really it was my wife and my friend Bernie. They was like, that might be a little too many words, and then I was like, you might be right. So so I broke it because the original book was two perspectives. It was Isabella and it was Samuel. So I broke the books in two, and the first book is Isabella's perspective, and it gives a better in-depth look of Tylwyth, orcs and elves and half elves and stuff like that. And then book 2 is in Samuel's perspective, that gives a better understanding of Pele, which is the original world that started it all. But it doesn't have, like, I introduced a Drew here, which is my version of the Dark Elf, Trip Alton. He comes from Tylwyth through a rift, the same rift that pulls Isabella from her world. So it kind of both books, but you can pick up either book and start the series.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of go hand in hand, coexisting with each other. So if you want to start with Samuel's, that's fine. Well, once I finish it. And then, but if you want to start with Isabella's, that's fine as well. And then the third book is going to bring them all together.
Where did you come up with all these characters plus this world that you've written? How do you come up with that? Or Let's talk about that just a little bit, because I know, man, that's got to be hard to keep on that track and plus stay in that world and that frame.
Well, coming up with it is my favorite thing to do.
Mm.
Like I'm literally I'm talking to you in this interview, but there's also a part of me that is running with ideas on what to do with this next chapter that I'm getting ready to start. Like it's not something that I can turn off. And that's one thing that kind of gets on Brittany's nerves is because we go on vacations and stuff like that, and I'll go silent, and she's like, "You're working on that novel, ain't you?" Well, and you just kind of give her a little side stare. No, but it is like it's just something that you can't turn off. It's all the time going, and when I hit a wall, and all people, I can't say all people, but I do. I hit a wall that just prevents me from writing for a few days and stuff like that. What I'll do is I'll pop on some music, put both earbuds in, so that way I can drown out everything, lean back, and just close my eyes and just let the music take me. And then I'll just let my imagination and my heart carry me from there. And then usually I'm writing pages.
Where did Isabella come from, though? Why did you say, okay, I want a female character to be the strong one in this one?
Well, that's a really good question.
Yeah, in there.
In the prologue, and I recommend reading the prologue to the book because it explains how magic works. It gives a better backstory of the characters, stuff like that, and their ancestry and things. When I introduced the prologue is in Kirkland's perspective, which is her brother, and I don't know, I just felt a strong connection to Isabella. Like she's a young girl who doesn't really want to strive to be better than anybody. She just wants to play. So she's very playful, and that's how Kirkland ends up getting hurt, is because she wants to play hide and seek with him in that forest, and she jumps out to scare him, and that's where that goes from there. But I don't. I just felt like because there was multiple people that I could have focused on. There's their father, Torgath, who when people look at me, probably think that would have been the one that I would have picked because he's a big old guy that farms and stuff like that. And then there's their mother, like she's a strong-willed person that actually is the only person that can keep Torgath in line to begin with. But I don't know, it just felt right. Like Isabella needed to be the person in this story that carries it.
Mm-hmm. Did you relate to Isabella the most in this book?
I do, but I think I like Ganesh a lot better. He's a half orc that endured a hardship of growing up because he wasn't a full-blooded orc. He was a half orc, so he wasn't really accepted by the orcs. But yet he still fought to protect them regardless. That's how I see myself. Like, growing up with these stories in my head and things like that, in the 80s and 90s, well, a lot of people just thought that, you're crazy. And so maybe I was crazy. But you know what? I didn't let them break me.
Exactly.
But I would still stand beside each one of them to protect them if they needed it.
What comes first for you, the plot or the characters?
I feel because I have a general idea of where I want the plot to be. Like I know how I want the book to go, how I want it to end, and things like that. And then I just kind of throw the characters out there and let them figure it out for me. I'll run to, and Brittany hates it. She absolutely hates it because she hates spoilers. She hates them, and I'll get an idea because I've got the character moving so far this way, and then I'm like, oh, I could do something right here and do this, and then I come running to Brittany, and she's like, don't even, don't even.
Email it to her.
It gets me excited like that. She definitely don't want to know because she wants to feel that in that moment.
You can email her, Scotty. But
Send her a message. You stop me now.
FaceTime her. Be like, look.
Oh, look what I did.
We can do block me on Facebook. We can do block me. I live here.
Take pictures and post it up over the bed where she sleeps.
Oh my God. What part of the book did you have the hardest time writing, if anything, man? Was there anything that challenged you?
It's a prologue. I rewrote this prologue 43 times to get it to where it was at.
Wow.
Like every now and then when writing, I'll hint back to stuff, and I'll rewrite a chapter here, rewrite a part of a chapter there. Like if I go back and change one thing in anything that I've written, I have to rewrite it. So I'd go back and change one thing in the prologue and just have to start it all over because it didn't fit. It didn't feel right to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started it over and I started it over. But after 43 times, I remember the final time that I wrote it, I was out here cutting grass. And I had my earbuds in, listening to music while I was just strolling along in the grass cutting day. and I had a vision of these elephants and rhinos and things like that just being herded off of a boat. And from that, it just expanded out. So I rewrote it, restarted it, and got it complete.
Where did your love of writing come from? Where did that spark come for you?
Well, it didn't start in grade school. I'll tell you that much right now. I struggled to get portfolios done in grade school.
Same.
It was probably right after I got into high school. I had 2 English teachers and a world civilization teacher, Miss Dillon, Lou Vanover, and John Kidd. Because even at the start of high school, I didn't really do really good until they took me off the football team. Then I thought, hey, wait a minute, I got to bring my grades up. So at this point, I had 2 English classes in order to try to catch up. I had English 1, and then I had sophomore English. And so in my sophomore English class, we was learning knights, like Canterbury Tales, things like that.
Mm.
And then Miss Vanover gave me my first ever J.R.R. Tolkien book, The Hobbit. And she said she thought I'd really like it, which she wasn't wrong. I did. I really liked it. And that led me to Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And then Miss Dillon was always there for me to bounce ideas off of all the time. Like no matter what time it was, I could pop in there and talk to her and we would progress it. But I remember I needed a short story and for my portfolio piece. It was in my sophomore English class that we was working on it. And I was laying down to go to sleep. And as I was going to sleep, I don't know if I dreamt it or if it just entered in my mind, but I thought I could see this knight wearing a gold armor, and he was walking down a small path. And I really, really liked that visual that I had. So I started writing it down. And then that one sentence of me describing this knight dressed in gold armor walking down this path just led into 6 pages. I had 6 pages. Didn't sleep, but I had 6 pages going to school the next day. And all of them, all 3 of them teachers, I let all 3 of them read it, and every one of them loved it. And they just told me to keep working on it and keep going and stuff like that. And that's where Legendary Maximus came from. That was the first book that I had published. And oh boy, it was. I was about 23, 24 when I published it the first time. And it was bad. There was typos, there was mistakes, there was loopholes, there was potholes. There was all kinds of stuff going on in this book. But I published it because this girl told me it was amazing. So I was like, hey. So I published it and learned my lesson there. But it got discontinued after I published it. I published it in 09. And after I found it, all them typos, stuff like that, I didn't promote it. I didn't push it. Because, that reflected me, and I didn't want people to think that was me, like, got all them typos, which I am. I'm perfectly broken. But, so I wrote a book of short stories, the Book of Durden, and published it through Amazon, KDP. And once again, typos galore. And what I learned from these it took 2 mistakes, by the way, 2 for me to learn it. But what I learned was that you could always use another pair of eyes looking over. And that's the best thing, is those 2 are discontinued. You can't find them anymore. So if you got them, you're among the lucky few. But with this book here, which is a retelling, I got the rights back to Legendary Maximus because it didn't sell from 09 till 2017. So I got those rights back, and I thought, why not just rewrite that one, make it what it should have been the first time that I published it. And that's why I started writing it. That's why there's a Samuel Maximus in it. The original story was him. It was him. He was the protagonist. And then Isabella came into the picture, and she kind of dominated. And so she got the book first, and then Samuel's getting the second book, and then the third book is both of them together, trying to stop the darkness.
Could we see an Easter egg in here of you as a character and nobody know about it, or is that going to be just like a little secret you got to find out and judge it for yourself? Watch him. He knows.
There's a little of me in just about every one of the characters, whether it's my stubbornness, my humor, my endurance, my never surrender attitude, stuff like that. But there is a few that I put in there that is close to home. I can probably do a contest on that if you can figure out exactly which one it is.
So you're going to be at the Lexington Comic Con in 2023, and I told you that you should do it, and I think that you will do very well down there, because there is a lot of folks that cater to this stuff, man. A lot of fantasy people, loves this stuff, so I would say be prepared to take as many books as you can.
Well, I just placed a big order. I placed an order of 60 paperback books and 24 hardcover books. But I might have to order more. I don't know. Like, I know it's odd. It's odd for me to say that I ordered 60 books and then 24 hardcover books, and that I'm sitting here thinking that maybe that might not be enough. But I'm telling you, Pikeville Comic Con really opened my eyes that I really underestimated myself.
So was there more people wanting to buy your book after those sold out at the Comic Con?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I sent them to Amazon's and Barnes & Noble because I didn't have my store up at that time. That's just a recent thing that I got done. But yeah, I sent them to Barnes & Nobles and stuff like that. So I'm guessing that they're a part of that 61 books that I sold. They went and bought them from those stores.
Why do you want to write the fantasy style for on that side? Because I know a lot of people do horror and drama and crime and stuff like that. But what draws you to the fantasy world?
It's just the magic of it all. Like, I like having you back against the wall. Magic is running out, and there's still a horde of enemies coming. And what are you going to do? You're going to buckle down and just pray, like, and which I guess you could do in all those other genres, but it's just if I sat down to write a horror book or anything like that, there would be elements of magic inside of it, because I feel like magic is all around us. Breaking things down to a specific genre is real hard, because a necromancer brings back the undead and he's a zombie, and it can fall. Well, I mean, it can fall in fantasy. That's where I have one of those in my book. He's a necromancer that brings back dead people. So I mean, that is also horror because it's got zombies, but I just feel fantasy fits me a lot better because of the time, magic, knights, the epic quest to save the world, things like that. And I'd be lying if I didn't say Dungeons and Dragons played a big role in it. I owe a lot to Dungeons and Dragons, to be honest. Like, it was through Dungeons and Dragons that I met my wife. It's through Dungeons and Dragons that I fully developed the imagination and stuff like that. And Dungeons and Dragons, I play it still. Well, technically I run it, but
What do you hope everyone takes away while reading this new book from you, man? What do you hope they get from it?
I just hope that they get entertained. Like, I hope that this book can take them out of the hardships of life, even if it's just for a moment, and really help them breathe.
Yeah.
Like, things can get overwhelming and things like that, and I just hope that going on a quest with Isabella, like, I fix it. I hope I write it to where they walk the path with her and can just get lost in that enchantment of the world needs saving. Who better to save it than us? Not her or me but us. And I mean, I had a person ask me one time how I felt about fan art and fan fiction, like somebody taking what I've created and writing their own. And I'll be honest with you, I love the idea. I love the idea of seeing someone, because in my eyes, I've inspired that person enough that they wanted to create something from something that I created. And I just feel like that's the biggest honor a person could achieve.
Yeah, that's a big compliment. I would take that as a huge compliment, for sure. My friend, how can folks stay in touch with you? Find out where you're going to be at, buy these books, everything you've got, especially this one. How can you do that?
I have a Facebook business page, R.S. Howell. I have a Twitter, which is R.S. Howell. TikTok, that's the big one. That's where I do a lot of dancing. It's Maximus Publishing for the TikTok. The Twitter is it's a little different. It's R.S. Howell _Daer or Randolph Howell. You'll be able to find me through there like that. Maximus Publishing for the TikTok. R.S. Howell for Facebook. Legends of Daer.etsy.com is the store. It's got a place there that you can message.
I will have all these links in this interview when it gets posted, so that way everybody can go out and support my bro. Buy his book. I don't care if you don't read it, just buy it. Just buy it, doesn't support it, But trust me, read this book, give it a chance. I think everybody will like something a little bit different, little different stuff in their coffee, as I should say. So before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah, okay. This is author R.S. Howell of Legends of Daer series, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour. Like, subscribe, share.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has a podcast link and our YouTube link, and you definitely want to subscribe to that YouTube link because we've got a lot of great stuff that you guys and gals are going to absolutely love. Trust me. And please go out and support my bro, Scotty Howell here. He's got a great book, Legends of Daer. This series, I'm telling you right now, is going to be great. It's going to be great, hands down. Go support him, buy his books, and just give him a thumbs up and tell him what you like about it. You know, everybody likes some constructive criticism. We all do. Tell him what you like, what you don't like, and we all grow from this. But anyway, support him, support me, and Scotty, my friend. You have a home right here when you need stuff done.
I appreciate it, Bubby.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.